Hello, hello, hello. Today we have a special game in that it's current SPL finals. SPL 16, Tigers versus Classiest, and we have Sergio Aguero versus Dice. This should be a banger game because, it's finals, so both players are bringing their A game and also their A team building skills, right? So yeah, this is like the ideal conditions. So it's finals of a big tournament. It's best of one, which I don't like personally, but it makes for some potentially great games because both players technically should at least care about each other's usages, and then both should also play to the best of their abilities. And both of them are great, not should be, they are great at the game. So yeah, I have high hopes for this one. Teams, let's see. Sergio brought a pretty standard offensive team. The only thing that you don't see often is Hitran, but I think just Franco used something like this early in the season. Hitran is cool on this type of build because if you run like Wisp, for example, you have a few strong targets to Wisp, and you don't care about Reuniclus as much as on Milker builds because you have a lot of strong attackers, and then you have the rest is kind of standard hyper offense engine, though Latios is not something you see often on hyper offense. Latios is fine on hyper offense, but you have to, it plays differently than on other styles. In other styles you usually want either to use it to break stuff open for the sweepers, which is also fine in hyper offense, or you use it as a revenge killer. In hyper offense, it's slightly different. You still want it to open up things for the rest of your sweepers, but most hyper offense teams don't benefit from Latios work as much. So usually you see Latios with weirder set, right? Maybe Life Orb Earthquake, or I don't know, something like Sideshow Grass Knot or whatever. Often on hyper offense, Latios set is a bit less streamlined, I would say. You can also run, for example, Memento, though probably not on this one, on this team, because the setup sweepers don't really need fritters like what Memento offers. But yeah, as for Dice went for double ground, jellies, and Reuniclus. Teeters can be okay, so Dice has spikes and Reuniclus, and then a strong spin blocker in jelly. It's always nice to have. Then the double ground build, which suggests that probably Lando has a strong set to break things up for Chomp usually. On a build like this, I don't think it's Scarf Lando, because the rest of the team, like, Lando is great when you have a more defensive build, let's say, so you can U-turn on the psychics and whatnot and give momentum to your slower pieces, but this build looks very offensive overall. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this was Trick on Reuniclus. This could even be Scarno Jelly, like boost up Scarmony, jellies, and kind of stuff. Though I don't think that's the case here. I would expect your defensive Scarm, defensive Jelly, Titar. The problem with this kind of build when you go defensive Scarm and Jelly is that you're often pretty weak to spikes. But you can run, say, Taunt Skarmory and like Fire Move Titar, and then you're not as weak to spikes as it looks like on the outset. And then, yeah, your Chomp probably Scarf, but then, you know, you only use it when you really need to, so it's not Spike's bait in general. Like, yeah, Scarf Jump will let Skarmory get Spikes up for free, but you shouldn't have Scarf Jump out with a Skarmory live in general. So yeah, leads. So if you're Sergio, it depends on your Kong set, but let's say it's the standard Bulk Up Ice Punch Payback, the max special defense. At this point, I would almost argue that dropping Mach Punch is maybe not standard, but realistic at least. Like, it's not fringe anymore. So I'm going with that. Like, max health and special defense, Mach Payback, Drain Punch Payback, Ice Punch, and slow, very slow. If that's the case, you should probably lead with that, right? So if you load into, say, Scarmgelli, so let's say it's an offensive Skarmory, you hard the Drain Punch on Skarmory lead, I think. Do you actually? I think you bulk up on Skarmory lead. So at least you get to know the Skarmory set, right, by bulk up in turn 1. If you Drain Punch, still up in the air, yeah, you get to know its EV spread, so maybe that's enough. And anyway, what other leads are available to you? If you're Balloon Heatran, you can definitely lead that guy. So the problem with leading Balloon Heatran is that your opponent has 2 very strong ground types. And so you don't want to lose Balloon to a non-ground type early into the game versus this, right? So let's say you lead Heatran into Skarmory. I guess you prevent rocks though, so that may be enough of a win. But you're pretty weak to say Scarf Chomp, so maybe you should consider saving the Balloon. I'm defaulting to Balloon just because of legacy value, let's say. Like 80% of Heatrans using Black and White are Balloons, and they have been for a while. So expecting Balloon is reasonable at the very least. But, you know, like if you on this lead you thought it was Balloon Heatran, I wouldn't blame you for thinking that. Of course it could be anything, let's say it's Balloon, because else, like, yeah, you have Starmie, but like Chomp is very strong into you. It will be strong either way. At least Balloon Heatran gives you an out. Yeah, so if you're Balloon Heatran, you lead if you're Sergio. But it also depends on the set. Heatran is quite obviously the rocker here. There are 2 mons that are rocks on this team. They're Jirachi and Heatran. And let's say that rocks Jirachi with Kong, D-Knight will be suspicious at the very least. Like, it's not saying obviously because people can run whatever they want, but let's say it's Healing Wish Rachi, which I think is a reasonable assumption. You can run Rock's Healing Wish U-turn Rachi as a kind of scuffed lead. I don't think you should though, in general. Like, not in SPL finals probably. Yeah, I know SPL is best of 1, so you can surprise your opponent. But do you want to surprise your opponent with Healing Wish lead Rachi? I don't think so. I could be horribly wrong, but I think Heatran is the rocker here. If I saw this matchup, I will just assume that Heatran is the rocker, and then Rachi, I would say Rachi is the choice card one, then Conk is a special defensive bull cap one, and then you have a DD Knight, could be any item, and any moveset on this really. You can even drop Fire Punch and like Ice Punch, because you have 1, you have Etran, 2, you have Kong, and 3, you have Latios, who could very well just be like Fire move, just to be strong into the into steel types, especially Ferroton. So yeah, I think you lead Heatran if it's Balloon. I know you risk losing Balloon early into a lot of things, but if you can catch Seiya, is that good actually? Well, the problem is you don't really have anything else to lead with. You can maybe lead Latios, but you don't know a few sets, so it's a bit tough to just lead Latios. So you probably lead Heatran. As for dice, well, there's the unreliable Tyranitar lead into Hyper Offense. It would also not lose to a Heatran lead. It would be a pretty strong play into that even. You have to be careful because it could be Wisp Heatran, and then your main Latios check will be crippled. Although you can always switch out, obviously. But the problem is what is into if there's a Heatran lead. Yes. So let's say you expect a Heatran with Dice Team. What do you lead with? I think you still lead Titar and just tank the Wisp? Like, what else do you do? Is there a better play? Raimonicus, if it's bulky, you can definitely lead that. Not definitely, but you can lead that. The problem will be that you really don't do much to Heatran unless you're Focus Blast. Even then, do you want to click Focus Blast turn 1? If you miss and Heatran Magma Storms, you kind of die. You can Calm Mind, but you haven't done anything. I guess you get Heatran out, but then let's say let's follow that path, right? So you click Calm Mind on Heatran with Raimonicus turn 1, and Heatran Magma Storms, and does what, 50 something %? Then you recover the next turn as your opponent switches to Jirachi, and then they get a free U-turn, and you can stay in if you're about alive. It's kind of awkward in general, so I don't think Raimonicus is the best play. I think you lead Heatran. I think you lead Titar if you're Dice and just tank whatever happens. Like, you accept that if your opponent leads most things you lose, but at least you have Sand up. Then, you know, if your Garchomp is Scarf, which I would say it's likely on this kind of build, you have a pretty good chance of winning. Even if it's Scarf Lando and not Chomp, it's still pretty good, right? Because, you know, there's the only setup sweeper will be Dragonite, who doesn't do well into Scarf Lando or into Scarf Chomp either, right? And then Sun will be up, so yeah. I think you lead Titar if you're Dice, and Heatran if you're Sergio. Let's see if I got it right. No, I get it completely wrong. Alright, so let me reason through this. So you lead Skarm because you can switch out of Heatran, not sure to what. I guess you just switch to Titar and then that's fine still, because your opponent would have to go for a pretty big outplay by Wisping. And if they don't, which I will say it's pretty likely, you can... Yeah, you took some damage on Titar, but I think in this matchup you're okay with that. Yeah, there's a Latios on the other side, but you know, you have a Scarfer that probably kills Latios, and this is definitely not Scarf Latios, so that's okay still. Conclade, I think it's okay. You have a good chance of getting an advantage here. Yeah, actually, Conclade makes a lot of sense into this, right? You would only use 2 Reuniclus, which is not getting with, right? So yeah. Conk is a good lead. Now let's see what happens, because what do you click here? I think you... Assuming it's the Bilky Kong set that's standard on this type of team, you probably... I will switch to Ether here. There's no way my opponent is going to ground type on this turn. That would be very courageous, if not ambitious. And the reasoning would be that neither of your ground types does anything to Kong, right? So it's like, yeah, I switch to Lando and get intimidated off. Yeah, fantastic, and then what? Kong might just bulk up or what, and you're kind of stuck there with Lando into a +1 defense Kong. And then the game gets really hard because Kong bulks up again as you turn out, and then assuming it's lower than Reuniclus, which you can definitely will be at least a reasonable guess, you're kind of in a tough spot. So maybe Skarmory was the best lead. Because if Etran is the lead, you switch out to Titar probably, or probably Titar. And if you're against Kong, you're chilling there. You can also switch out still as the Skarmory. Scouting will still be a good idea probably. So yeah, you just start the Reuniclus here if you're dice, I think. So the idea would be that if Kong bulks up, what do you do? You can play the Hope game. If you're Psychic Reuniclus though, you don't care, right? You just click Psychic. In some situations you would kill. Otherwise, what do you do? Okay, so as a dice, you have a few options here, I think. Skarmory was good though. I dig this. So the idea is that if you lead into Etran, you switch out. That's fine. But if you lead into Kong like here, you have a much better play, or at least maybe not a better play, but no, you do have a better play either way, because you can switch out still, except now the Kong has to... The Kong's guessing game is harder on this, so yeah. I will not stay in a Skarmory here. Mostly, I don't know the EV spread, but if this was special defensive Skarmory, I wouldn't be surprised at all. You have Reun and Lando and Jelly, so yeah, I think you switch out to what? So let's say it's the Kong set I'm expecting, which is a special defensive. It will bulk up here. If it does that, you can go Reuniclus and just click Psychic if you are Psychic. That will cover most things and keep your Skarmory healthy for the Dragonite endgame. And maybe even the Latios, because you could very well be specially defensive on this. Yeah, I would go Reuniclus here. As for Sergio, I will just bulk up. Like, I'm assuming you have the EVs to be slower than Reuniclus, obviously, and your payback and your bulk up. I think that's a reasonable assumption on this kind of team. So yeah, let's see what these players do. It's 20 minutes in and we're on turn 1. Great. SPL Finals, man. Oh, Orlando Thunderpuck. Oh, okay, so this is this the ladder conk? Like, life orb for attacks? This set is okay, I think. I think in fact it's pretty decent. The problem is that you really need to... It takes some guesswork to win with this. Like, it's not as solid, let's say, as the standard Lando. Okay, so one, you do not run bulk up Thunder Punch. That's just worse payback. That's why I'm thinking this is just life or conk with maybe sheer force. That would be it. It's a good set, I think. It's viable at least. Okay, Lando came in. We still don't know anything because it's turn 1. Just RDO turn, yeah. Okay, 11% is pretty high damage, so it's probably offensive conk. 31, oh, and freeze. Okay. And life or damage? So this is Iron Fist. This is Iron Fist conk. That's a very aggressive, man. Okay, this set... Well, this is a decent set. It's just less consistent than Bulk Up Guts. But if you want to run this set, go ahead. It does a lot of damage. Have you seen this? -1 Ice Punch, 31% to Reuniclus. Let me see, end of turn. Okay, so now we see that Reuniclus does not have lefties either. And he took 1,000,000 from Ice Punch, so probably it's either Life Orb, Trick Room, or... But it is Life Orb, right? Because no other item makes you run so little bulk on Rayon. It is little bulk Rayon, because it took 31% from -1 physical attack. So yeah, I think this is just... It's either Trick Room, but I don't know, or like Life Orb Recover 3 attacks, which makes more sense to me, mostly because Trick Rooming with these guys, Garchomp, Lando, you can make a case to do that if you are like Choice Band Titar and Special Defensive Skarmory, but I will never do that personally. But I think this is just Life Orb Rayon. I would have to calc a few things, but I think it's just max HP, almost 0 defense Rayon, and then auto special attack, and just click moves. Except he got frozen. Now you know conk is Iron Fist, Life Orb. Does your game plan change? Probably not, but it's probably a bit better for you, because with Sand Up, conk will actually likely take enough damage over the course of the game to the point where you can revenge kill it with one of your grounds. The freeze is awful, obviously, but yeah. At least, you know, conk is taking life or damage guaranteed every turn. You just have to not give it a free 30% recovery with Drain Punch, which is pretty easy with your guys. So yeah, Sergio goes Etran on the Reun. You have a free turn probably, so yeah, this is understandable. Turn 3. Titar. Oh, nice double from Dice. Let's see what happens here. Could go either way from here. Hard Rocks, nice. Wait, Dice went Skarmory on the Heatran. I don't think he went Skarmory on the Heatran. I think he expected... he expected Heatran to switch out, right, from Titar, like... My bad. This turn, right, so he doubles out to Titar, he gets Sand Up, very good in this matchup. And here, you can expect this to be like Wisp Heatran, maybe. Although, you know, it's rocks most likely, so it's not Wisp probably. Because Wisp rocks, then you only have 2 moves for coverage, and you need your Fire Stab, obviously, and then that will be only 1 more move. So he calls it out and switches to Skarmory. Skarmory on Heatran, that's okay. It would only lose if Heatran clicks Will-O-Wisp, but again, on this team, Heatran is probably the rocker, right? So you rocks Wisp on Hyper Offense is probably not real. And so the thought process, I think at least, I mean, I'm kind of guessing here, was, okay, my opponent is rocks Heatran, no Wisp, therefore my opponent cannot really hit my T-Tar early, and so is likely to switch out the Heatran on the T-Tar, because you want Heatran alive in this matchup. Even without Balloon, I expected Balloon in preview, and it would have been great, but it's not. Anyway, even if that's the case, you need if your Heatran cannot hit T-Tar, even if you have rocks, like in this case we've seen, you probably do not want to keep Heatran in on T-Tar like that, because you can just get T-Waved or Superpowered, and then your Heatran is kind of dead, and Heatran might look not great into this matchup, but you still want to keep it around. You don't want to give up Heatran that easily. So I think the idea was, Des was expecting a switch to what? Heatran. I'm not sure. Nah, I think the Skarmory switch is understandable. I would maybe do it myself. But I also see why Sergio is like, I don't care, I'm clicking rocks. Like, Heatran is good, but in this matchup is kind of just there, technically. It depends on other sets, obviously, but you can also just trade Heatran. Like, you can read your opponent not wanting to give up their Heatran, their T-Tar onto the Heatran, right? I don't mind this. Like, still pretty early into the game. It's SPL finals, so yeah. Jirachin comes out on the Skarmory. I need to speed it up because we're 30 minutes in and it's 35. Skarmory gets rocks up, so it looks like it was Skarmory. Yes, Salak Berry. Okay, so this was offensive Skarmory. This was just Skarmory, right? So you have a Skarmory lead who wants to get up as many hazards as possible, and then Jelly spin blocks, and then this would suggest that this is probably Scarf Tyranitar. The reasoning behind the Scarf T-Tar on this build, and also why it explains, and also, yeah, it explains why dice didn't go hard, didn't keep T-Tar in on Heatran, is that on this type of team, it's often Scarf Tyranitar, and the reason will be you need a Starmie punish and also an Excel punish for when you do, like, you block spin with Jellicent once, and then you need to get these 2 spinners out of the field. Or kill them even, but it's not that easy, at least not for Excel. Starmie a bit easier. With Scarf Teeter you can kind of do it, depending on a few things, but yeah. Anyway, Hirachi tricks its Scarf away to Skarmory. Skarmory is now locked into spikes. You see the Salakberry on Hirachi, so it's guaranteed that he was. Your turn, dice goes chomp. Gets rough skin damage, not sure it will matter. Starmie on Chomp. I think Outrage kills, so this could very well be Scarf Chomp. With like another suitor, it could still be Gravity or something else. I think on this type of team you need your landers to at least have a way of beating Levitators. So it should be Gravity. I mean, Gravity works well on Scarf Jelly, and you also have a Chomp. Could be Scarf, which I'm expecting it to be. Okay, so if this is Scarf Chomp, do you outrage here though? I think you do. You have Rocks and Spikes up, and Ethan is not Balloon, so it will take Spikes, and Ice agrees, it's 30%, that's nothing. Rocks. Does this Ethan have a move to kill Chomp? Probably. It's probably either Ice move or Dragon Pulse, right? You can maybe make a case for this being Sunny Day Magma Storm, but I think that set cannot afford rocks, so probably not. So I bet Chomp to die this next turn. I'm assuming Dragon Pulse kills, but it depends on the EVs probably. Yeah, but Chomp is stuck outraging the Ethan anyway, so I assume Sergio has a play against this. Except he didn't have a play against outrage crit. Alright, and Chomp has one more outrage turn, so this is a problem not just because you lost your Etran, but your ability to use on Intrigue on Rachi, and there's a Conk on your team. So the chances are you're healing Wish, and then if you're in Wish, you probably also have Iron Head. And one of you enthusiasts of no Iron Head Rachi would run you to match, but let's say that's a low likelihood of this being the case. And you can drop Healing Wish, sure, but you have this Kong set, right? So I think that's maybe not as obvious. I think it's Healing Wish Iron Egg. But then you kind of lose to Chomp. You're kind of banking on Chomp self-fitting, right? Yeah, you take 29% and then you click a move that will, if you're not Ice Punch, which clearly this is not. Yeah, now it's in Face Hands. Or this guy. Okay. Sergio goes for a very nice play actually. So here I think you go Starmie and click Electric move. Latios. So my idea was you get a free in for Starmie. Yeah, I see why. The problem with going Starmie will be that you kind of have to guess, assuming this is Scarf Titar, which we still don't know. But let's say it is. If you guess Starmie or Skarmory, you have to guess, in a sense, because if you Thunder and opponent goes Jelly Sand or T-Bolt, you made a great play. But if you T-Bolt into a Titar and the Titar is Scarf, which it usually is on this kind of structure, that's pretty rough. And conversely, if you Hydro Pump and Jelly Sand comes in, that's not great. But if you go Latios, what do you click? Like if I'm Sergio, what do I click on Skarmory? I just click HP Fire if I have it. Do I click T-Bolt if I have it? Sure, I think that's reasonable though. Yeah, HP5 is actually a decent move. The only weakness will be if it's Scarf Teeter and comes in right now, but if I'm dice, I hard the roast this turn. There is a chance this is just 3 Gladios. Especially since Jirchi gave up its items so early. But maybe Sergio also expected this to be Scarf Chomp, which we still probably think it is. So you don't need Scarf on your Rachi if you're against Scarf Chomp, because you are never revenge killing it. And there are no speed boosters on this team, so that's understandable that it tricked. But this turn, what do you do if you're Sergio Aguero? If you're Fire Move, I think you click it. I know you could just fire him into a Teeter. Let's say you didn't care about attacking this turn, you switch out the Latios to what? Not Star Me, because there's a non-zero chance Teeter comes in. You could go Jirachi. That would activate your Salkberry, and now what? Do you just hard Relinquish? Assuming, let's say Scarberry clicks Roost this turn. Can you abuse it with what's left? Not Kong, because Kong after Spikes probably dies to stuff. Although it's Scarfed, so if I'm dice, what do I click here? I think I just click Brave Bird. From this spot, Jirchi dies, Kong dies, Starmie might die, probably not, but I have a Jelly Sand. D-Knight doesn't like it. You're kind of Latios weak in a sense with this. I think I hard Brave Bird with if I'm dice. For Sergio, I think you click. This is a tough one, isn't it? Yeah, I think you stay with Latios and click whatever move that does damage to Scamony Surf, probably. And there it is. Brave Bird, Surf. Nice. 61%. Doesn't tell us much. This was a non-milky Scamony. Teeter comes in. Now, this is interesting, because now if you're Sergio, you get to know the Teeter item, which I think is Scarf on this team. Could very well be also Chopper. Both have been used extensively. Okay. Third did 47%. So, 1, this specs Latios. 2, this Teeter is not max special defense. I think 47 sounds a little bit high. It is very heavily invested in special defense, but it's not full. Not that it matters here. It's probably what, 88 attack amount Teeter. But Sergio understands that this Latios is dead, so he just tries to get the most value out of it. Which is fine, because you get to see also the Teeter EVs and item, most importantly, because on this type of builds, I will assume Scarf on Teeter. So if you manage to get information like Sergio is for, well, not free, but almost free, that's great. Okay. Latios dies, so you know it's not Scarf Teeter, which you probably... Well, you didn't know yet, but now you do, because obviously it is lower Latios, so you can go start me and click just the water stab, probably. Spin, sure, I mean... If that was sacrificing the Teeter, will you really be surprised? No, right? So he just... wait, no. Spin was a good play, I think. I endorse this. It loses to Teeter in a sense. But is Teeter really staying in? That's when Jelly, because Starmie only threatens Jelly with T-Bolt, and when a lowish Tita is in and rocks are up, which you absolutely hate if you're in Sergio's spot, I think Jelly is a better play and just stay in. And now, by the way, we know... Wait, no. We knew Titar wasn't Scarf, because it was lower than Specs Latios. Alright, anyway. Titar comes in on the spin, Jelly comes in on the spin, which blocks it, but then Thunder gets clicked, and that will pop. Nice shade, you really don't. Okay, Jelly dies. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting in this turn. Alright, so Titar is lower than Starmie, so no, not happening. Chomp is probably Scarf, so if it is, well, you send out your Scarf for here anyway, but which one is Scarf for you? Mr. Chomps or is Mr. Landos? I'm not sure we have a way to tell yet. Yeah, Lando U-turned early game on a Kong, but I think Jump is the star though, because it hard outrage like that on the Starmie. So it's probably Scarf Chomp. You go Chomp here then, if that's the case, and you may even click outrage. The problem with outrage is that you kill a Starmie, but then your opponent goes D-Knight and Extreme Speed Revenge kills you, but then you go land, then you go Landorus. But as a win, if Reunilus was not frozen, I think that's almost a guaranteed win for Dice. With a frozen Reun? Well, you go Chomp here anyway, because you want to keep the spike up. Well, no, the spike is whatever, but mostly the stealth rock, right? And the only way to do that is to go Chomp, because I'm assuming Chomp is a Scarfer. And so you... I mean, if Lando was a Scarfer, surely Dice would have gone Lando on turn 7. Yeah, so this is Scarf Chomp and Lando is some fancy set. Maybe Gravity, as I speculated in the game. Give Chomp upward, and then also, you know, you have spikes. So if you Gravity things, they take spikes damage, which is always nice. Makes them really weak to Chomp. I don't know, Scarmory, for example. Scarmory might leave a Chomp Earthquake after rocks, but one spike or two, it dies. So I think that's the idea behind Dice Team. Yeah, but anyway, this is Scarf Chomp, right? So you go Chomp here, and what do you click though? You can outrage. I think outrage is okay. If Kong dies to plus. If Kong after one spike dies to outrage, which I don't think it does, even if it's just max defense, health. I think you have to go Chomp anyway. And what do you click? Let's say you click Earthquake on the Starmie this turn 16. You click Earthquake. The idea would be that you force the Dragonite out if you click Earthquake. And then you can hard Lando as D-Knight DD is up, because it's obviously TD Knight. And then you HP Ice it. The problem with that line of play is that you lose if it's Yache Bernie. You may even lose leftover size punch. If you outrage with Chomp, Conk might leave. It will come in at 79 minus 19, so 60%. So it probably tanks outrage easily. If you click dual chop, you force the conk out, but you're not blocked there. I think chomp and dual chop. And then conk will come out, but you can just switch to Reuniclus probably, and keep things alive. So the idea would be that you I think chomp and dual chop. That's your best play as dice, I would say. So the thing is, you dual chop, Starmie dies, because you have to sacrifice Starmie here. Okay, I'm assuming dual chop it. If it doesn't, you lost, but whatever. Okay, so then you have a Garchomp locked in dual chomp in, and your opponent cannot go D-Knight dies because rocks are up. Girachi also dies after spikes. It will get a Salakberry, but you're still lower than Garchomp. And so Sergio will be forced to go conk and take 90% from hazards. And then he would have to... You can just go Reuniclus on the conk, or... Yeah, no, you go the Reuniclus on the conk and make it... force it to take Life Orb and Spikes then, and send damage. It's not as obvious though, because let's say that works out and you go Reuniclus on the conk. So conk will be at 35% after all that. And then your opponent, though you have a frozen Reuniclus on the field, so one, your opponent can just click Ice Punch and you will die because you took 30% at +0. And but then you win with outrage. So your opponent would have to go conk on the chomp. Like sacrifice Starmie, go conk Eldor on the chomp, and then immediately double out to Rachi and dealing with the conk. I'm not sure it's enough, but I think that's the only way out, right? The other option will be, again, to go conk, and then immediately into D-Knight. The problem with that play is that this D-Knight does not kill Lando unless it's Ice Punch. I'm not sure this is Ice Punch though. I'm not convinced. You have, okay, the idea would be that, but your Girachi does not hit Lando either. I don't think this is easy. I think you have to do some guesswork. There's no obvious marker for the D-Knights. So I think if you're certain, like, Garchomp comes out here, obviously, and you click dual chop. Earthquake loses to D-Knight. Like, if you click Earthquake, you lose to D-Knight. If you click Outrage, you probably win if you click Outrage, though, don't you? Because Sammy dies, Kong comes out, you click Outrage, Kong suicide. Really? And then you have Lando versus D-Knight plus Rachi. You lose to Yache Knight at that point. You may even lose to regular D-Knight. Ice Move does what, 60-something% from Lando? So maybe that's not what it is. Let's see what this people. Here you go Chomp because you're forced. I think you do one Chomp. Okay, and here you go conk, obviously. Okay, this is the crucial tool, right? So if you're Sergio and you're in a terrible spot either. The problem will be that if you click ice, you can click ice punch here actually, no second questions. So the idea is that you just ice punch, and if you ice punch into the Overused, that's okay still, because I think Mark used Chomp, and honestly I don't feel Life Orb. Probably you should run Mark, right? I mean it's just 4 attacks on. Thunder, Ice, Drain, Mark. I don't see why you would run anything else. You can drop the Drain Punch for like what's it called? Hammer Arm? Sure. You're like, I don't care about longevity, which is fair with this set, and you just distinguish it back up. Yeah. I think you Ice Punch, yes. And I probably just switch to... You can switch to Tita here. I don't hate it. Okay, my opponent has maybe Life or Thunder Ice, so it's not... You can go Tita here. The only problem with going Tita is that the discount was Drain Punch and clicked it this turn, which I think is pretty insane to do. That's why I will go Tita myself. But if you're very scared of that, you can go Overused here. Yeah, just go Rail. Rail is an easier play. Tita is fine too, yeah. And there it is, and Ice Punch. Okay. Do you die from Airquake from Lando? You might. Yeah, probably do. It's just Hard Denied. Is that banking on sets? I guess you kind of have to. Oh, or it's just this. It was Ice Punch. Wait. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. If you DD with Sergio, you still lose, right? You die to... Wait, do you? No, you win. Nah, if you DD up, you lose. Because you DD here, right? And then you're against a 88 health, and then your opponent just has Chomp on the +1 D9, and you die to Craftskin, and then the full health Lando just wins. So what you need to do to win is to freeze or create the Ice Punch, or to not be against Ice Berry, which I don't think anyone expected that. I mean, to a point you can expect it, but at this point you just take what you can get. And now Dice has won, right? You just... Wait, do you? Doesn't Kong still win from here? So as a D-Knight, you extreme speed. Okay, I'm assuming Jirchi has some speed, enough speed to beat this Landorus, but maybe it doesn't. In fact, it's probably not, right? He took too little damage every game. He's probably special defensive, so okay, never mind. So what's your out here, Sergio, if you have one even? Wait, no, you extreme speed here, right? So the thing is, you extreme speed, either Landorus dies, which is great for you, or you extreme speed into Chomp, which should die, 0.9%, it comes in at 30%. And then you have Mach Punch on Kong, so... And Reuniclus is frozen, so it cannot... Yeah. I think X3 is pretty first. Let's see. I mean, it's also possible that it was not extra speed. With that, if Ice Punch is real, it's likely just DD superpower and outrage. So it's probably not extra speed. And then in that case, yeah, this just happens. You probably lose. So you go Kong here and pick Mach Punch. There is a insane play that gets you out, which will be you go Kong here, and then actually no, because like the idea would be you go Kong here and then double out into Rachi as the opponent goes Reuniclus to sacrifice it, and then you English the Kong, but you take too much life or damage anyway, so you probably lose. Arachi, so easy. Oh yeah, he gets the Salakberry, so he can wish first. This is pretty funny. But yeah, he tricked the Salakberry onto himself early game. I can count himself. Okay. If this is the greediest Kong set of all times, which will be Life or Bulk Up Iron Fist faster than Reuniclus, and Reuniclus doesn't fall within the next 2 turns, this is a Kong wins. But I don't think this is happening. Lando comes out and Ice Punch. Yeah, Ice Punch is your strongest move here. Reuniclus comes out and you probably just attack, yeah. You want Reuniclus to top, but even if it doesn't happen, I think you're fine. I don't think Chom dies from -1 mark. Even with Iron Fist and Life Orb. Probably doesn't. I know only one way to find out. Whoa, that was very close though. Nice. It was a very nice game. I really enjoyed it. And you can tell by the fact that it took me 1 hour to analyze one best of 1 game. And look, if Hydra didn't get crit by Chom that 1 turn, this game was almost done. Though there's also a case to be made for reasons of Reuniclus on turn 1, right? So I guess, but I think the Hydra will have been much stronger in this matchup. Because it will have killed Chomp, and then suddenly Dice is kind of stuck there with a revenge killer for any of this stuff. So yeah, anyway, you know, Mons is Mons and whatnot. Anyway, great game. I enjoyed it. This is what I want to see more of. Yeah, good job to both players. And yeah, that's it. I believe the 2 teams are in a tiebreak now. I don't really follow SPL that closely. I only analyze the black and white replays when they happen. But yeah, there's a tiebreaker now, but there's no black and white, so nobody cares about what these 2 teams are doing. We all hope it's a winner finals, right? Except for the players, I guess they get their win. Yeah. Anyway, this was very fun, so see you next time. Goodbye.